everybody. So today we're going to have the first tasting of another 5-gallon batch that I split into smaller batches. This is Tropical Session White IPA. Now this was in the Zimmergy magazine and also on Homebrewers Association. Now, in getting ready for this video, I brought up my Beersmith profile of this. And I noticed, I'm like, a session IPA because the IBUs were 72. I was like, is that really how much that has? And going by Beersmith, it does show that the Warrior is this, then all the rest of them, all the rest of the hops add up a little bit. And I was like, man, for a session IPA, that seems like it's very high. So I went on to the Homebrewers Association website, and I can't get to the recipe anymore because you have to be a member. I'm not a member. So I don't know if this was unlocked for a little bit and I caught it in an email or something like that. And that's when I put it in. Usually when I do that in Beersmith, I'll actually copy the URL and I'll put it in the notes. But I did look at some of the other ones. Homebrew Talk has it, and there's some other sites. And I think Brewer's Friend had it, and the hop layout was almost identical, and it said it was like 50 IBUs. Yeah, alpha acids could change to bring that down, but I think his Warrior was off like 1%. But so this is what I used. For mine, again, I did split it into 1.25 gallon batches. And what I did is I changed the yeast. So there will be 5 different yeast used. I will do a review, a separate review on each one. And then I'll do a overall review just to see if we can tell what that yeast is doing. So for the recipe, 5 pounds, 8 ounces of 2-row. 4 pounds of white wheat. Now, it's probably up to the brewer, but I did see some people calling this a wheat beer, and I wouldn't call it a wheat beer because the wheat percentage or the amount that's used is not the greatest. So I don't know what you guys go by, but leave a comment down below. Tell me how you figure out, is it, IPA, or when is it a wheat beer versus an IPA or something like this. But I could see Tropical Session White IPA, that's fine. But yeah, some of those others that are calling it wheat beer, I believe if the wheat was higher than any other grain, then yes, you could call it a wheat beer. So that's the only grains that are in here. It's supposed to be cut 57% to 43%. Mine was 57.9% and 42.1%. For the hops, now this is a 90-minute boil. Hops are not going to be added until 60 minutes left in the boil. So our first addition is 1 ounce of Warrior. Mine was 15%. Alpha acids, which Beersmith is calling 66 IBUs. Then that is it. So it's almost like a New England IPA, yes. A little bit more bitterness in there. If it was a double New England, yeah, you could say that might work out. But session, but that's what they used, and I wanted to go by that. So Whirlpool, 20-minute steep at 170 degrees. 0.5 ounces of Amarillo, 0.5 ounces of Centennial, 0.5 ounces of Citra. Then, and this is where I wanted to look also, because I have some quirks in this. For some reason, I put Centennial, and on the ones I seen, they used Galaxy in place of the Centennial. So I don't know where I got the Centennial from. Next time I will make sure I take a picture and save that picture. But then I did also put Galaxy in here. I put 1 ounce of Galaxy in with that Whirlpool. So 0.5 ounces of Amarillo, Centennial, and Citra, then 1 ounce of Galaxy. Post-boil gravity, Beersmith called for 1047. I was at 10 bricks or 1040. So I was a little bit low on that. And this one is the US-05 yeast. Clean yeast. This will be pretty much our base as long as it turned out, because there are some, I shouldn't say scary ones, but some different yeasts that were used in some of these batches. This finished at 4 bricks, so 5.14%. Now, Beersmith did call for this to be 4.8%, and also some of the other ones that I looked up online also called for 4.8. So I'm a little bit higher. Maybe I boiled down just a little bit more, but I did get 3 or 4 bottles out of each one. These are only 12-ounce bottles, where most of the time I do the 22s, but I got 3 or 4 of them. I don't remember. But yeah, so I had enough, but again, I do leave some in there, so maybe I boil down just a little bit more, which would up the ABV. So let's go ahead and get this open and see what we're dealing with here. This was bottled on 7/1. This is the beginning of August, so we're a month in. I usually let all my beers sit a month. I think 4 carbonation tablets. Good hiss, good smoke. So just let me make sure. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure there were no dry hops in this at all. Let's go ahead and get it into this glass. From the color, I was just making sure that I did use 2-row. There we go. Nice head on there. Off-white, almost like a lemon-colored head, small and medium bubbles. About a finger of head on there. You can't complain about that color. Very light yellow in color, very, very hazy. I can see some bubbles coming up. Can't make out the light box, anything like that. There's your white IPA. Now what's doing that, you're using 2-row, and the 2-row that Beersmith has, I think I need to change it. It looks like the actual Beersmith picture, if you can see that. But the 2-row that I get, I'm pretty sure it's 2.2. And I think even the Roar 2-row is 2.2. But this says it's 1.8, which the Roar Premium Pilsner is 1.5 to like 2 or something like that. Then the wheat malt is an SRM of 3.2. So good color. That's what we're going for. Tropical Session White IPA. It stands up. Let's go ahead and smell. Danky fruit. Passion fruit dankness. Weedy. Getting some wheat in there. I think that dankness really takes over most of what's in here. There is a small, like, tropical mix, like generic tropical mix, and then some wheat comes through. I have been, I shouldn't say drinking a lot of wheat beers, but I just did the other 5-gallon split batch, and that all had wheat. And this kind of comes through. The danky, generic, juicy fruit is different. I think it's that Galaxy. That it's kind of passion fruit. It's not like a tart, or like I call it a smelly foot, but it's kind of there. Let's go ahead and taste. Thicker side. When I think of a session light, I think that that wheat malt, by using all that wheat in there, has really thickened up that beer. You do get a lot of dankness, like a young Like it almost needs to sit more. Like there's like a hot burn. Yes, the bitterness is up there. It's actually on the roof of my mouth. It's not at the back of my throat. A generic, lightly fruited wheat is what's in the aftertaste. Yeah, I guess I would say perceived bitterness is like 30 on this one. Like it was at the roof of my mouth. Maybe my palate just had to warm up to it. But I still get some, like, it's young, usually young New England IPAs that are massively dry hop. You get that little hop burn and you should let them sit. That's kind of what this is. I've only had one or two of those. But yeah, it seems like that dank hop burn needs to settle down just a little bit. But definitely, maybe it was the carbonation. That passion fruit, which I'm guessing is from the Galaxy, is really coming out in this one. Like a weedy passion fruit now. I can't drink this all because I have to do the side by side or else I would. I think it's very good. I think it's a little young. I think next month I'll make sure I do this on the day. I've got so many beers, it usually takes me almost 2 months to get through all the beers I have before I get back to one that I've drank. But I'll make sure I do it. I think as this one ages just a little bit more, I think 2 months is where this one's going to become really good. Now, we are using US-05 in this, so it's pretty clean. We shouldn't get any flavors from that yeast where we could in some of these other ones that I used. But yeah, good. A little too much hot burn, I would say, for me. Needs to settle down to be more like a session. And I'm talking, and I'm trying to come through this in a session beer. Now, for an IPA, this would probably be fine. If anything, I would say there's not enough tropical fruit in it. But for a session, you're probably not going to get that big, bold tropical fruit flavor in there, I wouldn't think. Because that's going to drive the IBUs up. I think the IBUs are high. I would probably cut that Warrior back to like half an ounce probably and see what that did. But the perceived, like I said, the perceived bitterness in this is low. 30 IBUs. But yeah, there's a little sweetness on there. I think it works well. I would brew a 5-gallon batch of this, but like I said, I think I would change that Warrior from 1 ounce to half an ounce. But we'll keep going and see how the other ones do. Then we'll have the side-by-side of all of them. So if you enjoyed this video, check some more out over here. And until next time, happy brewing.